Science might still be arguing over what the exact cause of ADHD and autism is, but what's starting to become very clear in the scientific literature is that the foods we eat play a massive role in what symptoms are exhibited. Because we know with ADHD and especially autism, there seems to be a lot of leaky gut and poor gut health issues. And that makes sense because the gut controls the brain. Brain is what seems to be acting up in those cases. So what do we know about the science and what foods we should or shouldn't eat with ADHD and autism? Well, for starters, kids with ADHD have been linked with deficiencies in iron, magnesium, and vitamin D. The science there is pretty strong. We also know that food additives like food colorings, artificial sweeteners, food dyes are massive triggers for all kids to behave badly, along with sugar, but so much worse for a brain that already seems to be inflamed or misfiring or whatever else is going on. So the best place to start if you suffer from ADHD or your kids have ADHD or autism is start with an elimination or a detox diet. Just reset the system, remove all the bad stuff, and then what you'll be able to do too is as you add things back in, when you transition properly through a detox diet, you'll see pretty quickly what you added that then seem to start up the symptoms again. And you can do this in healthy kids and healthy adults too. In fact, I do a detox usually once a quarter just to reset everything. So what I'm going to list coming up here in terms of foods we should eat really applies to everyone, but it's most important for kids who are struggling with ADHD and autism because we've got to try and calm down the inflammation in their body and the misfiring that's going on in the brain. And so as a general rule, they need to be getting a lot of good quality fat and a lot of protein because that helps the gut, which of course helps the brain. Complex carbohydrates are also important because they're going to help the brain release serotonin. We want to avoid simple carbs because they cause the big blood sugar spikes that means a lot of inflammation. And it also isn't going to help improve that serotonin. And why do we want serotonin? Regulates mood. How many kids with ADHD and with autism can't control the mood swings and the outbreaks? It's crazy. We need to get that down under control to help them and to help their families, but instead they keep getting pumped full of sugar, food dyes, all these other things, and their poor blood sugar is just doing all this kind of stuff. So the slower we can digest with carbs and fiber, the better, because it's going to help that serotonin, it's going to knock out those highs and lows. So what does this mean then? To get good fat, good protein, complex carbs, avoid the simple carbs, that means this. Well, they need to be eating a lot of eggs from pasture-raised chickens. And if you're dealing with ADHD or autism, it has to be from pasture-raised. We need that good quality yolk. We don't want all the toxins and inflammation that comes from eggs, from chickens that aren't of great health and quality. Grass-fed meat, especially organs. Now, if your child isn't going to eat the organ meat, I get it, then get them some organ meat supplements. I like a company called Heart and Soil by Dr. Paul Saladino. They're the supplements I use for organs to go along with the organ meat that I use. Very, very important. And it's got to be grass-fed because animals that eat corn and grains are going to be super inflamed, and we are what our food ate. If you're going to have poultry, so chicken, turkey, or pork, it must be pasture-raised because chickens and pigs retain a much higher percentage of the omega-6 fats, which are the pro-inflammatory fats that they get from corn and grain and whatever else they eat compared to beef. In fact, they hold about 20%, beef holds about 3%. So we definitely don't want to be eating these pork or chickens that are pumped full of antibiotics and growth hormone. Beans are phenomenal for the microdiversity or the microbiome gut diversity, but they've got to be pressure cooked because they're very high in lectins and they will tear the gut apart. So pressure cook the beans, then they're awesome for people to eat. Wild caught seafood like salmon, so if you get salmon, get Alaskan because they're not allowed to farm that. The problem with a lot of fish, they'll say it's wild caught because it's in the ocean, but they keep them in these nets where they're feeding them a bunch of garbage. Also, we don't want to be eating the big predatorial fish, or we don't want our kids to, because they're high in that mercury. And if they already have ADHD and autism, they're probably already struggling to methylate and deal with metal toxicity. And so you don't want to add more to the brain with that mercury. It's not a good thing. So it's got to be clean, smaller fish, seafood, or Alaskan salmon. Then for more good fats, avocados, extra virgin olive oil, MCT oil, flaxseed oil, all really, really good for you. Hey there, I just wanted to let you know as a thank you for watching my video, I wanted to send you my free guide on the 13 foods to boost your mood. So you can click in on the link in the description if you want to download that. There's so many people watching this video who are probably suffering with gut health issues, and sometimes even just changing the foods we eat can make all the difference in the world. So that's my free gift to you. Please grab it, take advantage of it. Anyway, back to the video. Certain nuts and seeds, walnuts, macadamias, pistachios, flax seeds, chia seeds, all amazing. Some almonds are okay, just not too many, but a lot of the other nuts are actually not nuts, they're legumes like peanuts and cashews, full of lectins, going to inflame the heck out of them. While we're on lectins, we want to eat non-toxic vegetables, meaning lectin-free, and nothing that's too high in oxalates. So lectins are basically the defense chemical that plants have that will inflame the body of anything that eats them. And so a lot of foods you've been told are good for you, some of these plants are actually really high in these lectins. So you really want to focus on sweet potatoes and other root vegetables. They're very low in lectins. Raw, organic, locally grown honey or manuka honey is phenomenal for the body. The sugar is not going to act like the refined sugars, but use this after the elimination period if you are doing a reset detox first. The only dairy I would be adding back in after you've eliminated it is grass-fed cheese, and the more cured cheese, the better. So hard cheeses like Parmesan or a Greek yogurt that's got to be organic. And if you can get local organic raw milk, great, drink that. All other dairy is going to be super inflammatory for them. A good quality protein powder would be great to have. I really like a company called Body Health. They make a product called Perfect Amino. It's actually the amino acids that build into the proteins that a lot of protein powders don't have. If you're not going to do that one, a good quality clean whey protein or a hemp powder. Basically all the other like pea protein and plant proteins are all full of lectins, so it's not good again for them. So what do you not hear on this list? Sugar, simple carbs like white bread, white flour, processed foods, because a lot of these processed foods are full of nasty seed oils like veggie oil, canola oil. Caffeine isn't on that list, food additives, chemicals, food dyes. And when it comes to food dyes, you want to avoid all of them anyway, but especially for your kids who are dealing with ADHD or autism, they cannot have red or yellow food dye at all. Not even in moderation. Is going to blow their brain up. So I really think that as a parent, you have to read all labels, but especially when your kids are dealing with this stuff. You also want to avoid chemicals like sodium benzoate, red dye number 40. These things are all being linked to cancers and all sorts of stuff. We also don't want to be having a bunch of grains full of lectins. Now, again, some good quality dairy can be added in after the elimination period, but you don't want to have too much dairy in the beginning. If your kid is old enough, I also strongly recommend the following supplements: a vitamin DK blend, magnesium, lots of fish or krill oil, because we want those omega-3s, because that's directly correlated in the science to improving ADHD and autistic symptoms. It's so important for brain health. And then to help the gut again with some prebiotics and maybe even some targeted probiotics if you've done a stool test. So that to me is the comprehensive ADHD list. They're the foods that they need to have, the foods they need to avoid. It goes for autism as well. If you can get those kids to eat those foods, it's going to repair the gut, which is going to help calm down the brain, and you will see a completely new child just doing that. Then there's a whole bunch of other strategies you can bring in as well, like getting them adjusted by a good chiropractor, doing some neurobiofeedback with the brain, all sorts of other stuff. But if you don't get the gut right first, then none of the other stuff's really going to have that effect. And if you have a child that's struggling with ADHD or autism and you're not sure really what to do with their diet, or this isn't helpful enough, then send me a message, leave a comment, and we can connect, do a discovery call, and I'll give you some more in-depth pointers on what you can do to get the diet turned around for them and really heal that gut.